Hi, everybody. I am just getting ready to go live on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. Hold, please. I always get to hit do not disturb. And just my luck, I'll get blown up with phone calls. Okay, here we go. Going live in three, two, one. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Cheer Chat. I know it's Saturday, and I know you can kind of see my phone in there, but who cares in YouTube land? Okay. I just want to go live because it is already April. I was just in Chicago last week. I still can't believe that was just a week ago. And I have yet to give you guys the recap because life has been trying to play me a little bit. I know I've been doing a lot lately. I've been traveling all over the place, doing the most, and I know I need to slow down. I think the trip to Chicago was probably like the biggest sign that I'm doing too much. When I tell you guys the fumbles, the crazy things that happened to me on this trip, you guys will probably laugh at me, but it's okay. It's just a sign that I might need to slow down. I say that while I'm like trying to pack for a flight that I'm taking tonight to Florida, but I had to jump on here real quick. I almost like was just like it's too much to do on the day that I leave, but I'm still excited from this trip and I just wanted to share with you my experience there. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's never too early or late for rosé. So just I need to kind of calm my nerves. Is that KL in France doing the most? I'm so excited for you. Hi, sweetheart. Anyway, let me take a sip of rosé. I'm gonna calm down, and then I'm gonna tell you guys about my trip to Chicago. Okay? Hold, please. Okay, you guys ready? I had so much fun. So this was just a week ago, and it feels like 2 weeks already. But I tried to squeeze in because I like to do as much as I possibly can during the season to get one more trip in for the NBA before it's playoffs, and then I can't afford a ticket and blah blah blah. Right? So I was like, I'll go to Chicago. It'll be fine. My company has an office there. I'll maybe work from there. No, I don't even think I planned on working from there because you guys know what? I was coming off of a trip to Las Vegas that weekend before. Monday was my flight in the morning to Chicago, and I was supposed to fly back on Tuesday. So there wasn't even a thought about extending this trip. It was supposed to be an in and out, right? Stick and move. And then I missed my flight, you guys. I'm just going to tell you the story. Can it be story time on a Saturday? It's about to be story time on a Saturday. Because it's a little dramatic, but it just shows you like how dope of a time it was. Okay, so here's the story. My flight was at the ass crack of dawn at 6 a.m. to get to Chicago with enough time. If I wanted to go into the office, that's right, that's where the office was going to come in. If I wanted to go to the office, I had a little bit of time to kill before I tried to catch court rehearsal and then go to the game. Well, guess what happens? Not blaming the trip to Vegas the day before, but I missed my flight, you guys. The devastation was so real. I love going to court rehearsal so much, and I just could not believe that I missed my flight. So I get booked on the next flight, which got me into Chicago at like 5 o'clock in the after freaking noon. So I missed court rehearsal. And now it's just a matter of like getting to my hotel to drop my stuff off so I can get to the game in time, right? Before they perform. So I should I spare you all the details? Do you guys want to hear the details? I feel like a violin, but I fly into Chicago. I'm just like going, you guys. Why do I put in the wrong hotel in my this was just so hot messedness. I was just so excited, and there were two hotels that I had it narrowed down to. I'm a bit of a hotel snob, if you guys don't know. The long and the short is, even though I went to the wrong hotel, I wasted about, I don't know how many minutes trying to go to the different place. It luckily wasn't like completely on the other side of town. But I get to the real hotel, check in, drop my stuff off, do this, zhuzh it up to, and then my Uber driver was so good. Did you guys know in Chicago they have like underground like street systems that go down two freaking levels? So like there's the street on top and then there's like this underground little area where they can drive and then there's another lower level where they can drive. So makes traffic amazing. Like this guy was taking me and then the maps was like repeating itself. So I was like, is he kidnapping me? Like where not kidnapping me, but where are we? So anyway, he was just like, if I had taken the streets, then you would have been super late. And I was telling him the story. So he got me to United Center like in record time. for rush hour traffic and everything. So I was like, okay, maybe there's hope. So now I'm hauling ass. I'm trying to get inside of the arena. And it was just a matter of like trying to hurry up and get to my seats because the game was literally like about to start. Then, you guys, I get a text from Toya, who is the head coach of the Bulls entertainment teams. Like, she has just been like an angel to me this whole trip. She texts me just in time for me to join her right where she records and watches the performances before the game. So I get this text, and I kid you not, I'm like hauling, I'm running in the concourse, like sweating, running because she was like, right after the national anthem, the Lovables will go on. So they're singing the national anthem. I'm running through the concourse, and I make it to that section just in time for the Lovables to hit the court. And when I tell you it was just divine timing, like I felt so relieved because this is, I mean, if I miss court rehearsal, this is the moment, like the debut of the teams. It's so exciting for me. I want to see how the arena like gets dark. I want to feel all the drama. I want to see how the audience reacts to knowing, what's about to take place. And so I made it there just in the nick of time. And so I have my phone. I'm probably shaking, but I put a lot in my story. I actually posted a lot from the trip as well. Instagram was playing a little game with me, you guys. Like, I swear to you, when I was posting these things, it was like the full entire like performance when I was like editing and doing the thing. Like, it was the full performance. And now I see it only snatched like 30 seconds or something, but I put it in my story. I tried to share as much as I could from these performances because they were so good. So, you know, say hi to Toya, get my phone ready. I'm like in the zone. And what was amazing was, even though I had a ticket, I got to hang with Toya and Jess, who I believe is their assistant coach, the whole game. So here I am, like getting this great footage of each performance. I think the Lovables performed once that game, but it was such a live environment for a Monday night, you guys. Their fan base is like, it's very special. First of all, walking in the United Center, even though I was like frantic and trying to figure out where I was going, you just have this sense of like, I have arrived where royalty walked, right? Obviously, Michael Jordan, duh. It is such a cool facility. The arena itself, like the graphics, like the whole vibe is really, really dope. So I got to kind of see behind the scenes and hang out with everybody in the locker room. They came out for, even though they only performed once, I believe that game, they still like were so involved during like, what do you call those, hot timeouts and things like that, where they come onto the court. They had like choreography that they did, but also just hyping everybody up. They have so many different entertainment teams, and I'll tell you why I got to see more of them in a second. But um, you have Benny the Bull, the mascot. You have the Incredibles, which is like their official stunt and cheer team. And so the whole game environment was really, really hyped. Like, I was actually having so much fun, and it was just such a rush. And maybe I was coming off of a high, but I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. And after the game, Toy and Jess were so sweet to like, hang out with me. Like, who wants to hang out after work, right? Like, it's just like, go home. But we were just talking, and I got to see, even in the locker room, you guys, I got to see um, performances that they like recorded and had saved in their Dropbox, things that they can't post either. I mean, the Lovables are just ridiculously talented. A lot of very unique, creative performances, and nobody freaking gets to see it, right? So, long and the short, they were like, if you really want to see some action, you need to stay for the game on Wednesday because it's Benny the Bull's birthday, right? That's their mascot. And apparently, I haven't done all the research of the history of this mascot, but it's a big freaking deal in Chicago. So like they had a whole themed performance or multiple performance throughout the game. Before the game, like it was all about hello. It was all about like pumping up this mascot's birthday. And she said all the performance teams will be there. 312 crew, um, everybody, all the lovable, I'm not all the lovables, all the Benny the Bulls from like decades, like all the older costumes, like they had like mascot extravaganza. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can just do the most yet again and change my flight, extend my stay at my hotel so I could stay and, stay for the game on Wednesday and pause for the dramatics because, yes, I did end up staying until Wednesday. Matter of fact, I stayed till Thursday because the game was Wednesday night. So I was like, okay, the mascot's cool. Let me see what this is about. So this time I get to go to court rehearsal, you guys, and it is when I tell you that it was just like they kept calling it jokingly a circus because there was just so much going on, but I wanna just say something about, like, the cohesiveness of all of the Chicago Bulls entertainment teams. Like I said, you have the Lovables, you have 312 Crew, you have Benny the Bull, you have the Incredibles, and you also have the Elevators, which are like they're like crazy dunk athletes that kind of do all the crazy gymnastics, and that stuff stresses me out to watch, but it was really cool. But just the cohesiveness of all those teams and how they, you know how like some teams will have like these auxiliary entertainment teams, but you could tell maybe they operate on their own little thing, or maybe they're not treated as equally as like the female dance team, or you have, it's just different dynamics that you kind of pick up on. But like it was really like one big old unit back there. Like, it was so much electricity, behind the scenes on the day of that game, and I don't know, maybe they don't always get to be together, and that might have been some of the magic, but it was really cool to see, just the, like, interaction between the various groups. I mean, you had so many mascots, you had people dressed up as, like, inflatable animals for this, like, dance battle thing that was going on. So, anyway, let me just I get excited. I go to the court rehearsal, I kinda see, okay, this is a big thing. There's, like, multiple performances, like, before the game, and when I tell you guys it's, like, an excitement factor with their crowd, like, you know how you'll have, like, the pregame performances and, they have something in the atrium, and people were posted up for the performances, so much so that, like, I had this guy's big old head in the background or in the like, he was, like, right in front, and I wanted to be a little extra and just ask him to please move or so I can record, but people were posted up and not willing to give up their space because they were that excited to see the performances board for the game. And just, like, a lot of the excitement, again, they had brought all the Benny the Bull, mascots out. I mean, it was just a big celebration and everybody was freaking into it. Not just me. Usually I feel like I'm like the woman from Mean Girls, like with the camera, like I don't know, the only one that's that excited. But this time I really feel like I had some competition because everybody was pretty pumped to see just just to celebrate. Like it felt like a very big celebratory atmosphere at the game and before the game. So before the game, I got to see the 312 Crew perform, the Lovables perform. Again, sorry, Instagram chopped off these videos, but just super energetic. The crowd really reacts to the dancers, which makes me extremely happy. And then again, they brought out Benny the Bull. They did the happy birthday, but the party did not stop there. So during the game, they had this whole scene where Benny the Bull's mom comes out and starts breaking it down to. It was just so cute, and I see the Instagram cut that off. I'm really irritated about that. Maybe I'll put it in my story instead. But, um but you had, like, 312 Crew performing with the Lovables, you had this whole stunt with the mascot and his mom, because you know how they be trying to add different mascots into the mix? I know the Seahawks did that with, like I don't even know what Boom was supposed to be for us, but we had Blitz the Seahawk and then Boom that they introduced later, maybe to be more kid-friendly. But it was just that was act 1, and then what else did he do? So he was coming out dunking, then he had the dance battle with the inflatables, which I thought was, like, so freaking funny. When this was going on during the court rehearsal, you guys, like, uh, it's just funny as hell to see people, like, dancing around in these costumes. I know the Colts would do that, halftime performance at different points. I don't know if they do it every year, but when they're actually dressed up in these inflatable costumes, it's so freaking hilarious to see in person. Like, I was dying laughing, and the funny story is one of the inflatable dancers with that was a unicorn, she was the one that got me a ticket to the game because she is working in PR for the Bulls. We danced together as rookies for the Seahawks and also made it back on the team together for the year that we won the Super Bowl. So Brittany is wonderful and stunning and did this whole thing. So she did I didn't get to see her on the first day of the game. Um, and she wasn't expecting me to stay till Wednesday. And so she comes into the rehearsal and we had this whole moment because it was just like, what are you doing here? And the whole 9 yards. And so she's up here dancing. She just thought it would be fun to do that. So that was like one of the funniest parts because the mascots, you guys, I know I talk shit about mascots sometimes because they make more money than we do, and it kinda makes me mad sometimes, but, like, they're just they're funny. Like, I get why they, like, belong in the whole entertainment scheme. Like, it's just they have to be so charismatic, hilarious. I have some outtakes that I wish I could post, of just the interaction with the, mascots behind the scenes, just all the antics that they pull. But the crowd really went crazy for the mascots. I've never seen a celebration in the mascots' honor like this before. And just watching all the entertainment teams be a part of that. And it was just the most fun. I will say this, like, you guys know I love to travel and I have a great time. And I know I sound like I'm just like a fan of everybody, but I actually think this was like the most fun like game that I actually got to go to. Like fun, fun from beginning to end. I know it was chaos and crazy, but I just had such a freaking good time. Like my cheeks were hurting from smiling so much, the laughter, all like the interaction, just watching the teams, like I said, the chemistry between them. It just felt like everybody was just hanging out with each other and like work could never be that fun. Like I know it wasn't like that probably every game, but I'm so glad that I stayed for that because it was just such a freaking good time. I'm looking at my notes because there's some other things that I wanted to mention. What I thought was pretty cool about the Lovables team is just that they have a lot of dancers that were on other teams before. So like I got to see Destiny again. She was formerly on the Detroit Pistons dance team, and she's now with the Lovables. Brittany, I mean, these are people, some of them I've never met before, but I followed. Brittany used to be a Colts cheerleader. She also danced, I believe, in a few other leagues, but seeing her and putting a face to it, like a real face to an Instagram face, if you will, was really great. Um, Seeing Hannah, who you guys know is a former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Tomo, she's a former Cleveland Cavaliers dancer. And then you guys, this is kind of a full circle moment for me because seeing Kelly, she was a former Sacramento Kings dancer, and this was my first time meeting her in person, but it was a pretty special moment because we connected and bonded because when the Sacramento Kings dancers were first eliminated, when the podcast really first started, and there was just like this domino effect of all the female dance teams disappearing. Um, I had some of the former Sacramento Kings dancers just, as part of an episode, just talking it out. And I just admire Kelly a lot. And so it was really cool to meet her in person. And so I just loved my trip so freaking much. I love seeing people thrive and trying different teams out and really finding their like niche and their real true match. Everybody just seemed like hanging out in the locker room. I can tell when teams are just so well taken care of, you guys, and it just makes me proud to see teams that or leadership that just cares that extra mile for their dancers. Like you can feed off of that energy when you're in the locker room. And they had like athletic trainers. Toya was sharing that they have like mental health services. They have strength and conditioning services. They also have like costume designer and just like very, very well run organization. And I will just say, Toya, thank you so much for opening your space to me and for giving me your umbrella after the game so I didn't get poured on after the first game. I was happy I was be able to return that to you the second game. You guys, she picked me up from my hotel for the second game. I just felt like so welcomed into Chicago Bulls organization, giving me a tour and just seeing all the love behind the scenes. I really want to say that their fan base seems extremely special. I loved that they really embraced and seemed excited when they were about to perform. I loved just the passion behind all of the performances. Like, a little whack ass like clap, like, okay, that was cool. Moving on. I just felt like there was genuine excitement for their dancers and performers. And, even with what's the team so I don't mess it up? The elevators, like when they're actually doing these crazy stunts and dunks, and everybody just seems invested in like the whole entire, not just the players in the game, but like the whole entire experience. And you just don't see that. Usually you see people go crazy over the t-shirts, which yes, they did, but like it just it was just like a little, I don't know. I really think I really just like the Chicago fans and just the environment that the entertainment teams create in their building. I forget the name of the awards, but I know that Toya shared that there's like some sports and entertainment awards that they give out every year. And I think, and now I'm probably going to totally misstate it, but I think the Bulls get recognized for this, their in-game, like their graphics and all the stuff that they have going on, and just their in-game environment. I don't know what the award exactly was about, but I could totally see why they win. Um, and I just appreciate the incorporation of all the different entertainment teams. And again, not this feeling of like, I don't want to call it a hierarchy, but like each of the teams really made a part, like we're a part of this puzzle. And there was room for everybody to shine. And they all kind of stormed the court together. Like, I love that. Like, you don't have to have a timeout just dedicated to one of the teams. I mean, of course, if they have like a feature performance, yes. But during those timeouts when you're throwing t-shirts, like everybody was part of like that in celebratory environment for the game. And I think that makes fans feel excited. Like you got, you know, I keep looking because I feel like I'm throwing all the names of the teams together, but you have the Incredibles, you have them stunting, you have them throwing out t-shirts, you have the Chicago Lovables out there doing choreography. You have like the mascots, like everybody's just part of this big hyped up scene. And I felt it. I was excited. Every time they would go out, I was right there trying to catch footage. But every time I would look around at the fans, which is what it's all about, right? Like just seeing their level of engagement made me, I think that's what made it so fun because it wasn't just like everybody's into it. Everybody's appreciating everything that's out on the court. And I think it's just like it translates and feeds to the team. Like that's kind of the point of why we're there. And I just, I felt like the Chicago entertainment teams really, really pull it all together to bring their fans into the experience and having them cheer, having them get hyped and not be just sitting down and just being part of like the energy in the arena. It's just sometimes you don't really feel that unless it's like a playoff game or whatever. And I felt that Monday night when it was just a regular deck, they lost, but whatever, it was close. But that was the same energy Monday night, and then it just took it up of 50 notches because of Benny the Bull's birthday. But I had an incredibly wonderful time. I thought it was so fun, and I'm so glad that I stayed and extended my trip. Um, and fit that trip in because it's been chaos. Like, I feel like since the beginning of the year, I have traveled. My daughter was like, "How many trips have you been on?" But I feel like I've traveled like this might be like trip number 8, the one that I'm leaving for tonight. But I don't regret any of it. It makes it so worthwhile for me to be able to see you guys, to meet you in person. I'm looking at my notes to make sure I didn't. Oh, I wanted to say something about 312 Crew because I mean, they were named, okay, you guys, I don't know if you remember, but in 2020, when it was like pandemic and I was bored out of my mind, I did the NBA Dance Team Playoffs tournament, so to speak, right? And so I tried to kind of have the teams going head to head in the story and people voted, blah, blah, blah. Well, at the end, because this was mainly focused on the primary dance team, I really wanted to recognize a lot of the other dance teams that I did see as I was like researching and putting the competition together. And the 312 Crew was actually my, like, favorite male dance crew, and I know they were just featured at the All-Star Game. I don't know if this was past one or the one before, but either way, they're so talented, you guys, and I just so much personality, and I could watch them all day. Like, I love that they did I posted it, but whatever, it got cut off. They did a performance to Bruno Mars' Perm, and, just all the personalities come out. I love when teams are, like, taking on a musical performer and having a whole theme around the performance where somebody's kinda pretending they're that person and lip syncing and the whole 9's, like, give me that. Like, I find that very entertaining. I think the crowds get into it too. But the 312 Crew is just really, they're good. They're really, really good, and I really enjoyed their performance. Again, I might have to repost some stuff because you guys got robbed. Instagram, you need to get it together. It just keeps when I watched all those videos behind in the locker room, you guys, of like just the different performances that Lovables have put on all season, we're missing out, man. Like if I could go to every single game, I would because there's so much to see and there's so much to appreciate. And to think that they do these routines like probably once or maybe bringing it back for another game, but I just, man, we're really not getting to really fully appreciate our space because we don't get to see these amazing performances. But I'm a fan. Chicago Lovables, 312 Crew, Incredibles, The Elevators, like everybody was extremely fun and entertaining. It was the most fun that I had at a game. I just want to give y'all a couple little tidbits of what's going on since it's just crazy. And, number one, there is an episode out this week. I interviewed Celine Edmondson. She is the assistant coach for the Brooklyn Nets. She was on the team for several years, kind of was like, to me, the face of Brooklyn Nets. And I actually interviewed her while I was in Chicago, and we had a wonderful conversation. The episode is called Give Me Some More. Busta Rhymes, if you do not know. I don't know if she even choreographed that piece, but I want to say she probably did. But in our conversation, we talked about so much. If you guys have watched Dance 100, it's on Netflix. It was like a dance reality competition show where choreographers got to like put pieces on dancers. There were 100 dancers, and they got to pick which choreographer they wanted to stay and who got sent home. And so it was really entertaining to watch her compete and seeing her choreography come to life in a different way and not on a basketball court. But we talked about all of the things like her time on Brooklyn Nets, coaching the team, working with artists that perform at halftime, just like, and also what I loved about our conversation was just like she was really honing in on how she really coaches up her dancers and tries to encourage them to dig deep to find their individuality. Like it's audition season and everybody should be putting their best selves forward of who they are as a dancer. And I thought she had some jewels to drop on what you can do to really express yourself or figure out who you are and arming yourself with more vocabulary in dance so that you can be more, interesting and expressing yourself, right? And standing out in all the best ways for audition. So check that episode out. It's called Give Me Some More. It is out now. I wanted to let you guys know that I also booked, because I'm crazy. Um, I'm going to the NFL cheerleading alumni reunion this summer in Boston. So never been to Boston before. It's in July. They're sold out, so I'm sorry if you missed it. Somebody was so nice to reach out to me about the registration, and it was the last day, so there wasn't much time to think about it. So I just booked it, like, because what else, whatever. But I'm excited. So if you're in Boston, I'd love to try to connect. It's over the summer. I'll post more later or share more as it gets closer. I'm also really kind of pumped because I know that NFL's having auditions. NBA are wrapping up for the most part, and some are having auditions. Speaking of which, the Bulls are actually having their auditions for the Levables a little early in May. So I would encourage you to look into submitting your videos for their auditions process because it's a really great team. Like I said, great resources for their dancers, an amazing game day environment. So I would consider it if I were you. Yeah, they're coming up early. So early May, I would look into it if you are interested. But as I was saying, NFL's over, NBA is almost over. I thought I would be slowing down in travel, but here we go. I'm already going somewhere in July. There's choreography pros that's happening in July. There's pro action dance that's happening in July. Stay tuned on how I figure all that out. But I want to go to one thing this summer, and that is to catch a Major League Baseball game that has dancers or cheerleaders associated with it. I keep seeing them popping up. Maybe it's a new thing now, but the New York Mets have a new dance team. They've been getting a lot of buzz. The Texas Lone Rangers, like I want to see y'all. So I got to figure out the timing, but I'm coming to a baseball game near you and I want to I want to sit right where they come out dancing on top of a dugout. It looks like I got to figure out what's going on there. That's been something that I've been wanting to do since this podcast started because we're in hockey, we're in basketball, football, soccer, lacrosse. Like there's so many leagues, and MLB is one that I have to cross off the list. So I'll be in touch about that. And if there are, the only other thing that I might try to squeeze in here, if there's a final audition for a team that's open to the public, I've been wanting to do the Vikings for the longest time because they do it in that big old mall, and it just looks fun, and I want to see it. But I'm kind of curious if you want to like hit me to your auditions process. If it has a final audition that is open, let me know, and I'll see if I can go. Okay. Whew. On that note, you guys, Chicago's dope. I'm actually going back to Chicago in May because of my job, and I'm so excited to be back. It'll be right around Memorial Day weekend. Um, but I feel like Chicago might have to be on my annual list of like I'm going to a game, and I just need to coordinate better so I can see the calendar layout of the different performances and the theme nights because they have put together some really, really cool performances, and I don't want to miss a really big game next year. I'm gonna have to make that happen. Okay, that's my download. I'm glad I jumped on. Sometimes I feel like I just need to get more of my life together before I talk to you guys, but you guys are used to me by now, right? Like I have my rosé, my life is crazy. It just comes out the best way I can, but I just want to salute all of the dancers that I got to meet. Thank you for taking pictures with me. Thank you for letting me be just part of the whole experience on game day with you guys. And I can't wait for my next trip. And I can't wait for my next episode. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining me. I will be actually traveling next week on a cruise. So I won't really be able to go live until the week after. I'll miss you, but I will see you soon. Okay. Bye, guys.